Hello again. In this video, we are going to talk about ether, energy and life. We reviewed the Michelson-Morley experiment in light of the ancient philosophies because in traditional Chinese medicine there is a concept called Qi, and in traditional Indian medicine, Ayurveda, there is a concept of Prana. Both may correspond with the Western concept of ether. So we integrate Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine and quantum biology. First, we are going to talk about a brief review of traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. Ether in the ancient medical disciplines, Qi and Prana. In quantum biology and structured water experiments and research, there may be an underlying energy field which may correspond with the modern Western concept of ether. We are going to review the Michelson-Morley experiment and question or challenge whether it was the last word in the story of ether or not. There may be finally modern approaches, the dawn of quantum biology and lifestyle medicine. This was the article I prepared this presentation about first. This is Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. The brief version of this article can be seen here. In traditional Chinese medicine, we work with complex formulas. In Ayurveda, there are usually single herbs. In Chinese medicine, the herbs are said to work on structured water and membranes and mitochondria. In Ayurveda, and there may be the same, but a little bit more simple way. In Chinese medicine, there are many English publications available online. There is an enormous research output from China, and its education is very well structured. In Ayurveda, there are fewer English publications and probably a slightly weaker education. In traditional Chinese medicine, there are body types and disease patterns, just like in Ayurveda. In Chinese medicine, we talk about yin and yang, and the yin may be particle and membranes and physical material. The yang may be biofield, moving metabolism, and a biofield with information and energy flowing hand in hand. This is called Qi. In Ayurveda, there may be similar things. There is a concept of prana, which is similar to Qi, and the same with Chinese medicine. There are daily and seasonal routine in lifestyle. This article is talking about the globalization of Ayurveda and its potential challenges. Ayurveda may be less standardized in education and may have less Western type evidence behind that. It also talks about body types, and this can be genetically proven. In my understanding, and based on this article, it is some sort of a lifestyle medicine. Management of chronic gastrointestinal, musculoskeletal, skin, neuro and pulmonary diseases and their management. Management is importantly sustainable. Everybody is aware of the three doshas in Ayurvedic medicine. I'm not going to go through this. It is interestingly the curry. We can see on the left side that there are certain spices in curry, and they have their own special biological functions. The composition of curry is usually to help digestion, and it is important to see and to say that this is a conscious choice, and that it is not a coincidence that curry is built up this way, because Ayurveda and traditional Indian cuisine needed to manage a huge number of population without modern medicine such as antibiotics and surgery. Let's see the Michelson-Morley experiment back from 1887. This is about ether and Prana or Qi. Originally and importantly, this experiment was not designed to disprove ether. And it was an interferometric experiment, which meant that there were two mirrors and a light source, and they measured the return of light from each mirrors, and they concluded that if the ether was around us, and that's a static mechanistic dough or gas or medium, as the earth is going through this ether in one direction, the return of light should be slower than the other, and eventually the source and speed of light was the same in both directions. Therefore, they concluded that ether doesn't exist, or at least doesn't exist in that mechanistic and static way. There may be other ether models as well. So let's see the assumptions and potential errors in this experiment. The correct ether model may be a dynamic and interactive ether. It may be particularly true because certain celestial bodies and planets they turn around and rotate much more quickly than the speed that was calculated from their original mass, which means that they may gain additional mass and extra rotational speed, and this extra weight gain or mass may come from ether, as the ether attaches to certain moving masses and certain energy fields. We are talking about the quantum vacuum and the zero-point energy field, which may be equivalents of the ancient Prana or Qi model. Again, the Michelson-Morley experiment has never been set up to disprove ether, and I am assuming and proposing that ether may not be as static and mechanistic as it was originally assumed, but it could be a dynamic medium attaching to masses and certain energy fields. What other proofs do we have out there? The ether returns. Modern science says the following. There is a quantum field theory which means that the vacuum is not empty but full of energy and structure. Indian philosophy is talking about Akasha. Tesla also experimented with ether in Colorado Springs. Tesla built towers. I'm not going into details. The Casimir effect or the Biefeld-Brown effect and the EPR paradox may also be further proofs of the existence of ether. The EPR paradox I have, or spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, I have experienced it and seen it and observed it several times during family constellations, because we made family constellations, Hellinger systemic constellations, far away from the original families that were implicated, and without information exchange, these families also changed in their behavior after family constellation. So basically what is happening here is that if we assume that an EPR paradox happens between the ether field or the energy field of the family constellation and the entangled part of the family somewhere else, the same happens with biophotons. If I get a photon and split it and send it in one direction and send the other photon in the other direction, it can be assumed and observed that changing the spin of one photon may change the spin of the other one, no matter how far away the other photon is. So there is an invisible medium which transmits these signals between the two photons and connect them. We don't know what it is, but it might be ether. The biological ether may be a joining medium, as I said, just like in families, because certain families operate on the entanglement of each other, quantum entanglement, and a certain common shared morphogenetic field. The same happens or may happen with flocks of birds or schools of fish, and there may be the same quantum entanglement in a joining medium between the birds of prey and their respective preys. What other ether biological interactions do we know? We can see the Prana and the Qi in both Ayurveda and Chinese medicine. The Ayurveda, the Prana is said to be going through the body, and in Chinese medicine, the Qi flows through the meridians and builds structured fields to organize biological structures. We will see that in modern parallels there may be structured water and its biological self-organizing electromagnetic fields in the human embryo. We will see in the next slide that in certain insect larvae, this biofield may be detectable, and so this could be another interpretation of ether as a dynamic coherence field. This is a little larva, Drosophila melanogaster larva, and its glow under the polarizing microscope. You can see the reference here, as the larva organizes its water content and changes its polarizing field. We can see that under the polarizing microscope it will beautifully glow like a rainbow. The ether and the heart. A long time ago, since William Harvey first proposed that the heart is nothing but a mechanical pump, others said that the heart may be a vortex generator which means that it may charge blood with electricity, and it can be detected as electrokinetic vascular streaming potential in the blood. And this may be due to synchronizing, it may be due to synchronized mitochondria in the peripheral tissues. It is interesting that when the heart stops pumping blood, in the case of asystole, or we can see the same in atrioventricular fibrillation, the patient collapses immediately, and they usually don't crawl to the telephone and call an ambulance, despite the fact that there is usually enough oxygen in their brain to go to the telephone and call an ambulance, because the oxygen there in the brain is usually enough for 2-3 minutes to fuel mitochondrial oxidative phosphorylation. So unfortunately, and for some reason, they just stop, their heart just stops working, and they immediately collapse. They don't have time to call an ambulance. I am proposing that this might be due to the synchronization of their mitochondria. The next similar evidence about the ether and the heart is structured water, as the blood goes to the periphery and it starts synchronizing mitochondria. The mitochondria generate an electromagnetic field in the peripheral tissues, and this electric field or electricity, or flowing electricity in the structured water on each side of the membrane may act as an ether concentrator near lipid membranes, because the generated electricity may trigger a magnetic ether flux from the ether as it repels from ether, and help for biological processes. Therefore, the lipid membranes may act as a very sensitive superconducting quantum interference device. We'll talk about it later. So we review modern science and medicine. The Michelson-Morley experiment didn't deny ether, just its rigid and mechanistic version. New modern structured water and quantum biological research may suggest a different approach. The ancient cultures already knew that. How can we integrate it? We can see the ether and vacuum and the 0-point field. There are several sources online which can be reviewed and traced back here. Let's talk about quantum biology. There is a new and emerging field of quantum biology. On the left side, we can see its different approach from the classical Newtonian physics. We are talking about biofields, energies and waves, as opposed to matter and Newton's billiard balls, observation and intention instead of action and reaction. We are talking about multiple coexisting possibilities instead of one possibility. What we can see only exists. We can talk about non-local and microscopic effects in opposition to local and macroscopic effects in Newtonian physics, and a unified interconnected world instead of separated world, in which events cannot be predicted with absolute certainty, whilst in Newtonian physics events can be fully predicted, which we know very well that it's not true. In quantum physics and quantum biology, reality has a deeper meaning and understanding than we see. Spiritists charges vibrations and biofields. In classical Newtonian physics, only what you can see exists. That's the materialistic approach. Other quantum biological phenomena can be seen here. Schrödinger's proteins, which says that proteins can exist in more than one superposition at the same time. We can see quantum tunneling in enzyme functions, and we can see quantum entanglement, as we talked about previously in quantum biology. Simply, poets called it love, when people just resonate with each other, and their heart may talk to each other, and they called it simply love and quantum entanglement, because they just vibrate the same way. So scientific materialism, we can see its origins in the Renaissance and Enlightenment, and this scientific materialism raises important questions such as do we humans exist as a form of conscious beings, or we are not more anything than a naked chimp? So we are probably intellectual beings with free will, and we are responsible for our actions. So what is the future? If we are responsible for our actions, we need to talk about and think about sustainability and management of chronic degenerative diseases in a sustainable way. Personal responsibility, lifestyle, diet, emotional work, psychological work, and we need to reduce waste production with the integration of these ancient lifestyle medical approaches such as Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, with minimization of environmental toxicity. This is the British Society of Lifestyle Medicine, which is an important way and a platform to talk about these conscious lifestyle choices. So what does alternative medicine do? Since the Flexner report in 1910, we went into surgery heavy and surgery operated medicine, and all other medical approaches, including Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, were made illegal, or nearly made illegal. Anything else, other approaches such as Iranian medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, Indian medicine, etc., also exist out there, and I believe that we need to take them into consideration when it comes to sustainability and reducing waste production. Traditional Chinese medicine was preserved and survived because China is a country of mass production, and diseases need to be managed in a local manner and with hybrid ways, such as integrating traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine and using the best of both. There is no time to be ill there. People need to go back to work and make things in the factories. If you like my videos, please visit my website, and thank you for your attention. See you next time.